Today we're turning Little Company into a horror game with mods. Even though it's already pretty scary, these mods will make it even more spooky and unpredictable, without feeling too unfair. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And the first mod we are adding is the one that sets the ambience. It's called Lethal Resonance. This mod changed most of the sound of the game and the ambience for when you explore the moons and when you enter the facility. There's now a new sound for the doors, the ambience, and even more. Then we are adding the Full Darkness mod. This mod makes so that when it's dark, it is really dark and you cannot see anything unless you have a source of light. Any item that makes light or a flashlight, making the exploration in the dark area a little bit more dangerous if you don't have the right items. But to counter this incredible lack of vision, in case you really don't have any items or you're in a pickle, we are adding the Better Scan Vision. Your scan will now create a little bit of light. So just like the flash of a camera from those kind of horror games, you can use your scan to have a small glimpse of the darker area. And the last ambience mods we're adding is a mod that modifies an entity. It's called Coil Head Stare. And this changes the coil head so that it actually kinda look at you if you stare at it for too long, making it completely unnerving and extremely creepy. Now that we're done with the ambience mod, it's time to move on to the moons we're adding, starting with a moon that goes really well with the Coil Head Stare. It's the Asteroid 13. This moon is set on an asteroid, and instead of the normal mobs outside, you will find yourself surrounded with Coil Head. Bodies of Coil Head, but also live one that can hurt you. The moon is extremely dark, especially with the darkness mod, but on the right of the ship, there is a button to open the light for you to see the rest of the moon.
I am Jeffrey Samuel Smith, agent and high commander working directly for the Emperor.
The next moon we're adding is the Atlas Abyss. This moon takes place completely underground near an old creepy tomb where they excavate it. The fire exit and the main entrance is pretty close, but beware because there's a lot of masked. The next moon we are adding is the Nyx from Tolian Moon. This moon leads to a creepy gothic castle almost looking like a necromancer castle, filled with spiked green flames and a very scary atmosphere. This moon adds the perfect atmosphere that I'm looking for. The main entrance is set at the end of the first long tunnel that leads to a giant door, and the fire exit is a bit further where you'll find a dining room and the fire exit. The next and last moon mod we are adding is Nightmare Moons. This mod adds 6 new scary moons to the game. And the first one we're looking at is Flicker. This takes place in a drive-in movie theater. The fire exit and the main entrance is really near to the ship, right next to the movie theater. But be careful because this moon contains a lot of masks that can go out at night. The second moon is Lament. This is set near a shipping dock, and this place actually has a large path for the cruiser's drivability. There is a shortcut that leads to the main entrance, with a fire exit right below, and another fire exit that you can only access with a ladder, but easily getting out because there's a ladder to actually get out. But be careful because late at night, masks will start to spawn inside the container. The next moon is Pareidolia. Pareidolia is the ability to see faces where normally there's no face. And this moon is an industrial megaplex with a long road. Once again, it is recommended that you bring the cruiser, and the more the day pass, the more red the moon above is getting. And it feels like there's something behind this moon. And once again, a lot of masks will spawn on the exterior, as well as some coil head, making it even more viable to have the cruiser to avoid all of these. This map contains 4 fire exits. It is a pretty big map, costing 900. The next moon is called Vigilance. This map is set in a big forest with a bunch of houses scattered here and there. If you follow the path, you can find the main entrance or one of the 3 fire exits. But be careful because some of the bushes can move, so you better look behind you not to have your neck broken. The next moon is called Abaddon. This small map is a jail that has 3 fire exits and a main entrance if you follow the road. You can drive easily with the cruiser, and you gotta be careful because once again, Coilhead seems to spawn on the surface. Then there is Cabal. This is set on a desolate planet, and the main entrance is really close in the basement of the service station. Although the fire exit is extremely far from the road, once again having the cruiser is recommended. And finally, the last moon is a secret moon. Well, just like Artifice, you won't see it in the moon list, but it's called the Iris. This living moon is partially out of space, and the path to get to the main entrance and the fire exit is pretty straightforward. You can still get there with the cruiser, but beware because there's even more masks inside this moon. And they are not normal masks, they are a variant of the mask called the Iris mask, and they seem to have more HP than the regular one. Now let's move on to some new interior, and the first one goes really well. With the Iris, it's called Castelum Carnis. This adds a fleshy, horrible interior. It is very well made. There is many rooms that have very different feeling and vibe from the interior of a body. From gut to bones, to something that looks like the interior of a brain or a lung. You might find some bodies along the way, some mouth that are probably the vent, and many features that will creep you out. The next interior we're adding is Dantor Mental Hospital. This one goes deep in the fear of the dark hospital or the mental asylum from the 50s, with depiction of bodies, abandoned room, and endless hallways that you can almost smell. And finally, the last interior mod we're adding is a pretty big one. It's Wesley's interior. This one adds 8 new interior to the game. There's the spooky manor variant. This adds a dilapidated version of the manor that almost looks like Silent Hill, turning every single room and area to its creepy version. Then there's the art gallery with many tricks up its sleeve. And be careful not to hang yourself. This mod also features an asylum, which contains one of the scariest parts I've seen in Little Company. A grand armory with chains and torture rooms. The greenhouse that contains a creepy cornfield with an interesting defense mechanism.
Facility central power source is missing. Decontaminating in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And a toy store that has a Halloween version. Now let's move on to the mobs that we're adding. And the first one we're gonna check is the Dark Mist. This is an invisible mob. I couldn't find a way to watch it or see it, but this is basically turning every single interior into a haunted interior, closing doors behind you, flickering lights, and just simply causing paranoia. And the next mob we are adding is the Country Road Creature. This adds a new monster to the game based on the Country Road Creature model. If the Country Road Creature sees a player, he will run towards the player, and if he collides with a player at any time, you will grab him and kill him. And the more he sees you, the more fast he becomes. And as soon as he kills a player, he becomes max speed and he never stops. There's no way to decrease its speed. You can hit the creature to stun it for a few moments. This will also set his angry gauge to the max. Next mod we are adding is the Scopophobia, which adds a CP96 to the monster that can spawn in the interior but also the exterior. You can hear the Shy Guy cry, and if you look at the Shy Guy, he will start to cry for a moment, and after a while he will just begin running towards you. You have a limited amount of time to completely leave the moon. If you don't leave the moon, he will find you and will kill you, and yes, he can open the ship door. Next mod we are adding is the Thing. This is not like the movies from the 80s, it is a creature that patiently waits for you, watching you in the dark. It can watch multiple players studying them, but only acts after observing a specific number when it has its eyes set. The thing abducts the last player it saw, and it puts them into a dark, ominous room. In this room, you need to play a game to escape. I'm not gonna spoil how to escape the room, you'll have to find it for yourself. So I hope that this horror version of Lethal Company will suit you. Make sure you subscribe, go watch my other showcase, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.